So we will be looking into the type 2 under equations, that is simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations are basically two different types of equations with two different variables in them, and we solve them simultaneously to arrive at the answer for the two variables. So in this case, the example would be x plus 3y is equal to 3, and 4x minus 5y is equal to 29, where we have two equations, 1 and 2, and we have two variables, that is x and y. We solve them simultaneously to arrive at the values of x and y. So there are two methods of solving the equations, the simultaneous equations, by substitution method and by adding and subtracting. So in the substitution method, we try to find x in terms of y. So what we do is, if x plus 3y is equal to 3, I keep x on the left-hand side and transfer everything else onto the right-hand side. So that would mean x is equal to 3 minus 3y. So now take this same thing and substitute it back into equation 2, wherein x over here is equal to 3 minus 3y. I will substitute x over here as 3 minus 3y. So it will be 4 into 3 minus 3y minus 5y is equal to 29. So 4 into 3 is 12. 4 into minus 3y is minus 12y. Minus 5y is equal to 29. So I keep the variables on one side and transfer constants on the other side. That would mean minus 12y minus 5y is equal to 29 minus 12. That would mean minus 17y is equal to 17, and y is equal to minus 1. So now substitute minus 1 back into this equation or any one of these equations to arrive at the answer for x. So that would mean x plus 3 and y is minus 1 is equal to 3. So x minus 3 is equal to 3. So x is equal to 6. That's it. So we got x which is equal to 6 and y which is equal to minus 1. The same thing I will solve it in addition, adding and subtracting method. That would mean taking both the equations together and trying to make the coefficient of one of these variables equal to each other. So in this case, I will take the coefficient of x, where x over here is 1 and here it is 4. So what I try to do is, I multiply this whole equation by 4 and this whole equation by 1. So that would mean the coefficient of x is equal, that is 4. So say for example, 4 into 1x will give you 4x. 4 into plus 3y will give you plus 12y, which is equal to 4 into 3 is 12. And here, 1 into anything will give you the same answer. So is equal to 29. And now the rule number 2 is you have to take either one of these equations and change the signs. So if it is a plus sign, you put a minus sign to it. If it is a minus sign, you change that into a plus sign. And here it is plus, so minus 29. So in this way, plus 4 and minus 4 get cancelled out. Plus 12 plus 5y will give you 17y is equal to plus 12 minus 29 will give you minus 17. So y is equal to minus 1. Substitute it back into either one of these equations and you will get the same value, that is x plus 3 into minus 1 is equal to 3. So x minus 3 is equal to 3. So x is equal to 6. That's it. Okay, so basically now after doing, so if you see both the answers, y is equal to -1 and x is equal to 6. So you doing either method will give you the same answer, just that you have to choose the different methods that you would prefer. Under simultaneous equations, we would solve the second, third, and the fifth sum. So the second sum says 5 by x plus 6y is equal to 13, and 3 by x plus 4y is equal to 7. So in this case, instead of cancelling out x, we would try and cancel out y, which would make it more easier. So I would multiply this by 2 so that y becomes 12, and this by 3 so that y becomes 12. So now 5 2s are 10. 10 by x plus 12y plus is equal to 26. In this, it is 9 by x is plus 12y is equal to 21. So I put a minus sign here, a minus sign here, and a minus sign here, which would be 1 by x is equal to 5. So x is equal to 1 by 5. So now substituting x back into the equation would give you y. So in this case, it will be 5 by 1 by 5 plus 6y is equal to 13. So since 1 by 5 is in the denominator, you have to reciprocate it, which would mean 5 will go to the numerator as 5 into 5 by 1 plus 6y is equal to 13, which would be 25 plus 6y is equal to 13. 6y is equal to 20. 13 minus 25. 6y is equal to minus 12, and y is equal to minus 2. So this is your answer. So we're going to do the third sum. The third sum is basically 3 different parts where we have to solve them to get your simultaneous equations. So we take the first part, that is x plus y minus 8 by 2 is equal to x plus 2y minus 14 by 3. What we're going to do here is we're going to cross multiply and get the equation. So 3 into x plus y minus 8 is equal to 2 into x plus 2y minus 14. So 3 into x will give me 3x plus 3 into y will give me 3y, and 3 into 8 will give me 24. Minus 24 because it is minus 8. So the next part is 2 into x will give me 2x plus 2 into 2y will give me 4y minus 2 into 14 will give me 28. Now I take the variables on one side and the constants on the other side, which would mean 3x plus 3y minus 2x minus 4y is equal to minus 28, and minus 24 will give me plus 24. So 3x minus 2x will give me x, plus 3y minus 4y will give me minus y, is equal to minus 28 plus 24 will give me minus 4. Similarly, I take equation number 2 and equation number 3. That would be x plus 2y minus 14 by 3 is equal to 3x plus y minus 12 by 11. So we're going to cross multiply the same way and get the other equation. That would be 11 into x plus 2y minus 14 would be equal to 3 into 3x plus y minus 12. So 11 into x would be 11x, plus 11 into 2 would be 22y, minus 11 into 14 will be 154, is equal to 3 into 3x will give me 9x, 3 into y will give me plus 3y, and 12 into 3 will give me 36, so minus 36, which would, so now I would take the variables on one side and the constants on the other side. 11x plus 22y minus 9x and minus 3y is equal to minus 36 plus 154, which would be 11x minus 9x would give me 2x, plus 22 minus 3y will give me minus 19y, and plus 154 minus 36 would give me 118. So now we would take this as equation 1 and this as equation 2 and solve them. So as we solved the two equations, x minus y is equal to minus 4 and 2x plus 19y is equal to 118. So since already it is 2x here, so in the first equation we can just multiply this first equation by 2 so that we get x, so that we can cancel out x. So 2x into 2 will give me 2x, minus y into 2 will give me 2y, equals to minus 4 into 2 will give me minus 8. So, and then the second equation is written as it is, 19y is equal to 118. What I'll do over here is I'll change the signs of the first equation. That would mean minus, this will be plus, and this will be plus. So x and 2x gets cancelled out. Plus 19y plus 2y will give me plus 21y, which will be equal to 118 plus 8 will give me 126. So y would be equal to 126 by 21, which would be, so 21 into 6 will give me 126. So y is equal to 6. Now take the same thing and put it and substitute it back into one of these equations to get x. What I'll do is I'll take the first equation, x minus y is equal to minus 4. X is 6. So what I'll do is x minus 6 is equal to minus 4. X is equal to minus 4 plus 6. X is equal to 2. So you get x and y as your answers. Okay, so we would be solving the fifth sum under simultaneous equations. In this case, since you have you have fractions, so what you do is you would take LCM. That would make it much more easier. So in the first equation, it's 2 and 9. So 2 1s are 2, 9s are 3, 3s are 9, and 3 1s are. Okay, fine. So LCM in the first case is 2 into 3 into 3, that would be 18. And for the second case, it is 3 and 6. 3 and 6 would be 3 1s are, 3 2s are, and 2 1s are, and 1s are. Okay, so the LCM for this would be 3 into 2, which would be 6. So what I would go forward and do is now, denominator for the first one is 18. And 2 into what will give you 18? 2 into 9 will give you 18. So if you're multiplying the denominator by a number, you have to multiply the numerator by the same number as well. So that would be 9x, and 9 what's are 18? 9 2s are 18. So y into 2 as well. So plus 2y is equal to 11. Okay, so in the second case, it is it's 6 is the LCM. So I would take 6 here, and 3 into 2 will give you 6. So multiply the numerator by 6. So 2x plus 6 ones are 6. So y into 1, which would be y, is equal to 9. So now take 18 on that side and 6 on that side. It would give me 9x plus 2y is equal to 18 into 11 would give me 198. And 2x plus y is equal to 54. Yeah. So now, since you have these two equations, solve them simultaneously. I would take the second equation and multiply it by 2, so that I would get I can cancel out y. So 9x plus 2y is equal to 198, and 2x into 2 will give me 4x plus 2y is equal to 54, so that is 108. Change the signs. Okay, I would get, so y and y cancels out. 9 minus 4 will give me 5x is equal to 90. X is equal to 18. So if x is equal to 18, substitute it back into the formula. So that would give me 2 into 18 plus y is equal to 54. 36 plus y is equal to 54. So y will be equal to 54 minus 36. That would give me say 18. So y is equal to 18. Yeah. So now we would do sum number 1, 2, and 10 under word problems of simultaneous. If you look at the handout, the first sum says, find two numbers whose sum is 21 and difference is 9. So as it says, find two numbers, two unknown numbers. Let the two numbers be x and y. So, as the question says, the two numbers whose sum is 21. So that means the sum of x and y should be 21, and the difference is 9. So the difference of x and y is 9. So since you have both of them, equation number 1 and equation number 2. In this case, you would not want to multiply by any number, because there's already a plus y and a minus y which can get cancelled out. So you don't need to change the signs of any equation. All you have to do is just cancel out the y. If you cancel out the y, you get plus x, so that is 2x. 2x is equal to 21 plus 9, that's 30. So x will be equal to 30 by 2. So x is equal to 15. Substituted back into the formula, you would get, substituted back into this formula, and you would get 15 plus y is equal to 21. So y is equal to 21 minus 15. So y would be equal to 6. So you have x is equal to 15 and y is equal to 6. Yeah, and so your answers would be the numbers x and y. X is equal to 15 and y is equal to 6. That's your answer. Okay, so the second sum, if the numerator of a function is increased by 2 and the denominator by 1, it becomes 5 by 8. Let's take this part of the question and solve it. So now let the numbers be x and y, where x is the numerator and y is the denominator. Okay, so as it says, if the numerator of the function is increased by 2, so if x is increased by 2 and the denominator by 1, so y is increased by 1, it becomes 5 by 8. 5 by 8. That's all. Cross multiply and you will get your equation. That would be 8x plus 2 is equal to 5y plus 1. So 8x plus 16 is equal to 5y plus 5. Take the variables on one side and take the constants on the other side. That would be 8x plus 8x minus 5y is equal to minus 16 plus 5. That would be 8x minus 5y is equal to minus 11. So yeah, and then the second part of the question says, if the numerators and denominators of the same function are increased by 1, the function becomes half. Find the fraction. So what they're trying to say in the second part is, if the numerators and denominators of the same function are increased by 1. So if x is increased by 1 and y is increased by 1, it equates to half. So what we do here is, again, we cross multiply to get the second equation. That would be 2x plus 1 is equal to 1 into y plus 1. So 2x plus 2 is equal to y plus 1. And over here, take the variables on one side and take the constants on the other side. That would be 2x minus y is equal to minus 1. So you have your first equation here, and this is your second equation. As you've got the two equations, all you have to do is solve them simultaneously to arrive at the answer. So it is 8x minus 5y is equal to minus 11. 8x minus 5y is equal to minus 11, and 2x minus y is equal to minus 1. 2x minus y is equal to minus 1. Over here, I'm going to multiply the second equation by 4 so that I can cancel out the x variable. So 8x minus 5y is equal to minus 11. So 2x into 4 will give me 8x. Minus y into 4 will give me minus 4y. And minus 1 into 4 will give me minus 4. Change the signs so that I can cancel out the x variable. So 8x gets cancelled out. Minus 5x plus 4y will give me minus y. And minus 11 plus 4 will give me minus 7. Cancel out the minus signs. Y is equal to 7. If you take y and substitute it in this formula, I would get, say, 1 minute. Okay, so now if I substitute y in this formula, I get 2x minus 7 is equal to minus 1. So 2x is equal to 7 minus 1, that would give me 6. So x is equal to 3. So you have x and y. So all you have to do is write down the answer as the numerator is 3 and the denominator is 4. The denominator is 7. So since you found x, which is equal to 3, and y, which is equal to 7, and x is the numerator and y is the denominator, in the question it says find the fraction. So all you have to do, write the answer as 3 by 7. That's your fraction. So we're going to do the 9th question now. The 9th question says, if twice the age of the son is added to the age of the father, the sum is 56. But if twice the age of the father is added to the age of the son, the sum is 82. Find the ages of the father and the son. So now since you don't know two things, that is the age of the father and the age of the son. So those are the two variables. Let the age of the father be x and let the age of the son be y. That's the way we're going to solve the sum now. So as the question says, if twice the age of the son is added to the age of the father. So now twice the age of the son. So age of the son is y. So 2y is added to the age of the father. The sum is 56. And if twice the age of the father is added to the age of the son, the sum is 82. So twice the age of the father. So now father's age is x. So twice the age of the father is added to the son. The sum is 82. Whenever you get a sum like this, try to write the variables, the corresponding variables under each other so that it is easier for you to solve the sum later on. So now since you have 2y and y, I'll multiply this equation by 2. So if I multiply this equation by 2, it would be 2y plus x is equal to 56, and 2y plus 4 into 2x will give 2 into 2x will give you 4x is equal to 82 into 2 will give you 164. So if you change the signs, minus, minus, and minus, 2y gets cancelled out, minus 4x plus x will give you minus 3x, and 56 minus 164 is 108. Okay, so now if you divide it, minus 108 because it's minus 164, cancel out the minus signs and you get x is equal to 108 by 3, that would be 36. So you have x now. X is the age of the father. So if you substitute it back into the equation, 2y plus x is 36 is equal to 56. So 2y is equal to 56 minus 36. So 2y is equal to 20. Y is equal to 10. So your answer should be the age of the son is 10 and the age of the father is 36.
The third type of equation we are going to cover are quadratic equations. Quadratic equations are linear equations of the second order. Second order basically means that it is an equation which is of the highest power 2. That means the unknown variable is of the highest power 2 and therefore it has only two possible roots or answers. Every quadratic equation has to be represented in the standard form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This basically means that any equation that you get, the first step is to convert it into the standard form. If you notice, in this question, it has x square and bx. That means ax square and bx are variables while c is the constant. The reason a, b, and c are boxed is because they are numerals. And you need to convert them by writing them separately. In this question, if you notice on the example, a is equal to 2, b is equal to minus 5 because it has a negative sign attached to it, and c is equal to minus 3. Always consider the signs attached to it. If it is plus, as per the formula, it will go as directly c. But if it is minus 3, c will be equal to minus 3. The next step would be, in order to solve the equation, you have three particular steps. The next step would be to find the product of a and c. This is called the product of the equation. Product is a into c. So you multiply the extremes and the coefficient of x square and the end of the constant in order to find the product. A into c will be the first step. The second step would be to find the factors of the product. Factors of the product would be found by utilizing the LCM method by starting with the lowest factor of the product. After you find the product, you need to arrange the product using plus or minus so as the sum would be equal to B. And the product would be equal to step 1. So that means I arrange whatever factors I find. So the factors, if you're adding in, only 2 factors you need to consider. So if it's a bigger number, the product is a larger number, when you're finding the factors of the number, you might get more than 2 or 3 factors. You need to arrange or shortlist only 2 factors in order to add or subtract them in order to get the answer B. What you're trying to do in this step is basically not change the answer or the value of the equation by just arranging it to your convenience. See, these are the 3 steps you need to do. After you do it, you need to factorize and find 2 roots. I'm going to solve this quadratic equation utilizing the same 3 steps. This is also known as factorization method. So I'm going to write that here. The first step would be to identify A, B, and C. So A over here is 2, B is equal to minus 5, and C is equal to minus 3. If you notice, it's easier when I box them and show you because I need to include the sign attached to it. So A is equal to 2, B is equal to minus 5, and C is equal to minus 3. Let's start with step 1. Once I've found out what A, B, and C are, the step 1 would be as follows when I multiply A and C in order to find the particular product. A and C, A into C is equal to 2 into minus 3, which is equal to minus 6. Minus 6 is the product which we need to factorize in order to find the factors that we can arrange in step 3. Step 2 would be factors. Factors of 6. When I utilize the LCM method, start with the smallest factor 2, 3, 3, 1. So the factors, if you realize, are 1, 2, 3, and the number itself. So 1, 2, 3, and 6 are the factors. And in this question, the number is smaller, so you have a lesser number of options for you to arrange. So the next step would be to arrange it. So you need to get the product as minus 6 and the sum as minus 5. That is your condition. So product is minus 6 and you need to get the sum as B, which is minus 5. So let's start with 2 and 3. So when I take 2 and 3, okay, when I subtract them both, if I add them up, I get minus 5. That means this is condition is satisfied. But when I product them or when I multiply them, minus 2 into minus 3 will give you plus 6. That means this option should not be considered. The second option would be by taking 6 and 1, because you've already tried out 2 and 3. Second option would be by taking 6 and 1. I need to get minus 5 as the sum, and I need to get the product as minus 6. If I take minus 6 and plus 1, you realize that minus 6 plus 1 will give you minus 5 as the sum, and minus 6 into plus 1 will give you minus 6 as the product. That means the factors that I choose in the end are minus 6 and plus 1. Okay? This is the third step. Have you understood the steps? We're going to move on by understanding how to solve the quadratic equation. Once we've found out the factors that we're going to choose, we need to start by solving it. So what we do is essentially 2x minus 5x, 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 is the equation. What we are trying to do by finding out the factors are, we're substituting this minus 5x, utilizing these factors in order to make sure the equation remains the same, but only the factors are changed. So when I do this, this step would be, I start minus 6. So it will be minus 6x plus 1x minus 3 is equal to 0. If you notice, minus 6x plus 1x will give you minus 5x. That's how you check your equation. The next step would be to factorize the things. So I start with this part. So the equation has 4 parts to it. So I start by handling the first half. If you notice, 2x square minus 6x, 2x is common out of the lot. So when I take 2x outside, inside the bracket you get x minus 3. Plus, here you have nothing common, so I take 1 common, and inside the bracket you get x minus 3. This essentially means that you're not changing the form of the equation, you're only factorizing it for your convenience. If you notice, the brackets that you find on either of the sides always have to be equal. That's how you check if your quadratic equation is correct. So this is what you get. Next, what you do is write down both the brackets. 0. This is part 1, this is part 2. Now you equate both the factors to 0 in order to find the 2 roots that you need. So I'm going to start by x minus 3 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 3. This is your first root. 2x plus 1 is equal to 0 and 2x is equal to minus 1. Therefore, x is equal to minus half. That means the 2 roots to your quadratic equation 2x square minus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0 are 3 or half, minus half. That's how you write it. Therefore, you say x is equal to 3 or minus 1 by 2. This is the end of the answer. The second method we're going to use to find out the answer to the quadratic equation is called the formula method. Formula method, this is the formula that you need to find. X will again have 2 roots to it. So now x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This is the formula you need to learn, and I'm going to use this formula in order to solve the same equation that we did previously. 2x square minus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. The only thing we need to remember is to identify what a, b and c are. A in this question is 2, b is minus 5 and c is minus 3. This is exactly similar to what we did in the previous time. This is what we need to do first. The second step would be to directly substitute these values in this formula. So we notice here x is equal to minus b. Minus is minus b. Use brackets because there are a lot of signs involved in the question. So minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac, 4 into 2 into minus 3 divided by 2 into 2. This is the direct substitution of the formula. When I do minus of minus 5, it becomes plus 5, plus or minus. In the root, you get 25 because even a minus number, when it's squared, you get a positive value. So minus 5 whole square will give you 25. 25 plus 4 into 2 is 8. 8 into minus 3 is minus 24. So this is minus 24. Outside the bracket, there's a negative sign. So minus into minus 24 will give you plus 24. Hence, I've written a plus here. Whole divided by 4. You keep simplifying. Inside the root, 25 plus 24, you get root of 49. So when you do 5 plus or minus root of 49 divided by 4, we all know that root of 49 is 7, which is why a root always has 2 values. It can be plus or minus, which is why we have a plus or minus of root 49. That means when I write the answer as 5 plus or minus 7, this means that the answer to the root is plus 7 or minus 7 because it's a square root. Now, when I do 5 plus or minus 7 by 4, this is the simplest form of the equation. Now you have 2 roots. What you do for the first root is, first root you write 5 plus 7 divided by 4, and the second root will be 5 minus 7 divided by 4, which is where this plus or minus will get incorporated. So 5 plus 7 divided by 4 will give you 12 divided by 4. Therefore, x is equal to 3. The second one will give you 5 minus 7 divided by 4 is minus 2. So minus 2 divided by 4, 2 1s are 2 2s are. Therefore, x is equal to half. If you notice, when we solved it using factorization method, we got the root of the quadratic equation to be 3 or minus half. And the same answer you're getting when you're using formula method. Either of the methods can be utilized to solve your quadratic equation or as per your convenience.
So now we will do the seventh sum in the module. The seventh sum is x square plus x square minus 25 is equal to 0. It's not in the form ax square plus bx plus c, but it is of the second order because it is x square. So what we do is we convert it as in step 1, we convert this into the standard form. So what we try to do here is x square plus 0x minus 25 is equal to 0. So this does not change anything since it's 0x. So what we'll do now is we will split it up and do minus 5x plus 5x minus 25 is equal to 0. Plus 5x minus 5x is equal to 0 by itself, and 5 5s are 25. And this is 1, so 25 into 1, the product is 25. So minus 5 into plus 5 will give you minus 25. So everything is perfectly set. So what we do is now we take the common factors out, x minus 5 plus 5, x minus 5 is equal to 0. So we take x minus 5 common out. So if we take x minus 5 common, it will be x plus 5 is equal to 0. So from here, we can solve it. This is basically, if you see this form, this equation, it's actually in the form a square minus b square, where b square is actually 5 square. Okay, so a square minus b square is equal to actually a plus b into a minus b. Isn't this and this the same? A minus b into a plus b is equal. So basically it's the same thing, just that we're doing it in the quadratic form way. Now from here, x minus 5 and x minus 5 into x plus 5 is equal to 0. So that means in this, since both are multiplied, either one should be 0. So anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So either one of this should be equal to 0. So we equate both of them equal to 0. X minus 5 is equal to 0 and x plus 5 is equal to 0. If you solve it, you get x is equal to 5 or x is equal to minus 5. So this is your answer. The two answers are 5 and minus 5. Okay, so now we are going to do the 11th sum, that is 0.25 x square minus 0.25 x minus 10.5 is equal to 0. So now since this is a little difficult to solve, so we would just multiply this whole equation by 100 so that we move 2 decimal places out. So multiplying by 100 will give me 25x square minus 25x minus 1050 is equal to 0. So now I would solve the equation in 2 ways. That is the factorization way and the formula way. So the formula way is basically, as you all know, this is A, this is B, and this is C. So formula is x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Okay, so is equal to minus of minus 25, that would be 25 plus 25, plus or minus square root of b square 25 is b square 25 square is 625 minus 4 into a is 25 and c is minus 1050. So divided by 2a, so 2 into 25, which will be equal to 25 plus or minus square root of 625 plus 1,05,000 divided by 50. If you solve this, 1,05,000 plus 625 and the square root, it would give me 325. So that would be 25 plus or minus 325 divided by 50, which I would split and get 25 plus 325 and 25 minus 325. That would be, say, 350 by 50 by 50 and minus 300 by 50, which would be 7 and minus 6. So these are the two answers, 7 and minus 6. The same way, if I would solve it in a factorization form, I would get 25x square minus 25x minus 1050 is equal to 0. If I divide this whole equation by 25, if I divide this whole equation by 25, it would give me x square minus x minus 42 is equal to 0. So now it makes it much more easier. If I find the LCM of 42 with the lowest factor, it would give me 21. So 3 7s are 21 and 7 1s are. So now in this a combination with these three, if I form, I would get say the, yeah, so basically in this combination, if you would get 3 into 2, 6. So 6 and 7. The 6 and 7 will give me 42 as well, plus it will give me a minus 1. So I can just solve it with minus 7x plus 6x minus 42 is equal to 0. Over here, take x common. So x minus 7 plus 6x minus 7 will give me 0. Taking x minus 7 out common, I would get x plus 6 is equal to 0. So over here, either one of them should be equal to 0. So x minus 7 is equal to 0 or x plus 6 is equal to 0. I would get x is equal to 7 and x is equal to minus 6. So either way you solve it, you're going to get the same answer, that is 7 and minus 6.